everyone, here we are again for our next episode of Speak Up and Lead Talks, the place to be for sexy and savvy conversations. And today I have a special surprise for you. I always have special guests, but usually they are ladies. And today I brought with me here a man. And why am I doing that? Well, it's Christmas time, it's time to change, New Year. So let's get something fresh from a different perspective. I have here with me Martin Altherr, and Martin is the Europe's premier self-confidence and transformation expert and helps people to own an embodied self-confidence, to have delightful relationships, awesome incomes, and to live a victorious life. And I brought Martin here today because I want Martin to talk to us about something. We women, we struggle. We have so many sabotage patterns and even more towards money. And we all love money, and Christmas is coming. We really have to change our mindset for next year on how we can manifest abundance in our lives in many different shapes and form. Without any further ado, I more than welcome Martin. Martin, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tulia. Very nice being with you, and thank you being your surprise for your community.
Yes, exactly. They will love you, I'm sure. And I'm not going to say too much. I want you to share with us your story because I know you're an entrepreneur. You founded many businesses, but you always had a holistic approach to your businesses. And then one day you decided to help people on that level, changing their mindset, their patterns. But explain to us what is the foundation of everything you do right now?
Actually, my story is a long one and I make it very short. It is there where I started really to think about changing something in my life was the moment when I had actually a very dramatic situation in my life. It was the health of my son, and the doctors came to us and told us, we don't know how long he's going to live. So it was like, you can imagine, it was like a bomb exploding in myself. And I thought, that's it. I mean, that is more than I can take. And I started to ask myself, what can I do now for my son? And by doing so, I started to realize the only thing is now I must be the strong power for my boy. And my boy decided to take that. And I started to realize, wow, there's a lot of power in it when I go that way, not asking myself why me, but asking myself, what can I contribute? And by giving this, I started to understand death and life. I can say yes to both equally. And by doing this, I felt a strong power in myself. And through there, actually, it started everything to build up. And I started to study psychology and started to learn constellation work, which is a different technique in psychological ways. And yeah, there I grew into this, helping people overcoming their struggles, their challenges, and fulfilling finally their passions and having a victorious life.
That sounds awesome. And Martin, but I know you're very passionate about it, and we can hear the way you explain. And I would like you to share with us from your experience with your clients and your several different types of clients that you had so far in your career, the common patterns that we all have. And if you could make a relation, maybe what women have in terms of common patterns. We always don't like to generalize, because we cannot generalize, but we have to in this conversation. That's something that you have noticed that women do often, that they are not in favor of helping them to achieve fulfill their mission and their purpose and achieve what they desire.
Yes, I guess in our society, it is very deeply imprinted that women every time have to step back to help men going forward and making their careers. That is a story actually everybody knows. What I think which women should much more consider is that they should understand men to have exactly the same thing, means sabotage patterns, sabotaging themselves. And actually, there is also the saying, behind every great man stands a woman rolling her eyes, right? So it's actually, we all have our patterns because we are human, and we generate our imprints, and over these imprints we get our beliefs, and over these beliefs we come into our action behavioral patterns, and through this we come to our mindset, right? So I think for women, I think personally it's the most important to understand we have for sure differences, and we are different entities, and we have a lot of common.
That's very, very good that you say that, because I do believe also that we are different. Of course, we know that, but we are complementary. And the important thing for us to really find this power to empower ourselves is to find our own source, our own power, and then cherish the difference coming from the other side and find this balance. That's the way I see as well. But easier said than done. We know that. And what could we do, like in our daily, like let's try to get some Christmas recipes here in our daily life to really start this process of self-empowerment, because it always starts from us, correct?
Yes, it starts inside ourselves, and everything we perceive in the outside is actually here programmed between our ears. And what we project to the outside is actually nothing else than the reflection of how we are and how we act to the outside, right? So actually a recipe could be to understand that first of all, we have struggles. And when we struggle somewhere, we must realize that we are struggling, right? So sometimes we just go through our pathways and we ask ourselves why the world is so crazy, why the world is wrong. And understanding the world is not wrong. It's actually us responding to what we project in a way that we don't like it. So in the sense, we have to find out first, actually we are unconscious, incompetent for a specific situation. And through this, we must find maybe somebody who can reflect to us, where is exactly that challenge? Where is that problem? Where is that incompetence where I'm in? And through this, it becomes actually conscious incompetence. That would be the second step. As a third step, you get from that person maybe, for example, like a person like me or you, I get taught, how could I overcome this incompetence and bring it into a competence? Through this, it becomes a conscious competence, right? And when I go from there and train this, and now comes the training part. I mean, use it or lose it. That is an old saying. Feel it with the muscles. When you don't do anything, muscles get weak. When I do start training, then muscles getting strong. And so it is also with different habits. When I train them, they get stronger. And with this, I can get them in an unconscious or a subconscious competence. Means I'm doing it by not even realizing that I'm doing it. Like walking. If you learn to walk, it's first an incompetence, an unconscious incompetence. And you see somebody walk, you want it too. You start to try and you get it in a conscious incompetence by realizing you want to walk and the other one can, I can't. Then you train, then you get it in a competence, in a conscious competence. And now when we walk, we just stand up and walk. It's an unconscious competence, right? So that would be a recipe for.
Yes, and you know what? Listening to you, I work with women most of the time, mostly women, and to build their confidence through communication. And when I give my talks and my seminars, there was a similar complaints, let's put that way, where they face in their daily professional lives, where in one of the most common one is to say that they don't have a voice in their work environment, so that they are in an environment where there's more men in number and in voice, and even when they say something, their voice is overlooked or overheard. But I also observed throughout these years that they keep repeating that, but they don't really take action. Meaning, I feel like that they fear this first step of taking responsibility of the change they want to see is the most difficult one, because they have already realized the problem. They have already realized that if they want something to change, they would have to make something happen. But in a way, unconsciously, they are still waiting for something outside to happen and change the environment they are, and then they will be happy, and then they will have a voice. And what can you say about that? Because this is really about patterns, and I see over and over again, like they know there's a problem, they are there, but it's as if they don't believe they have the power. They are the ones who have the power to make the change. What can you say about that?
It's a very deep reflex. And that is a really deep engraved imprint, actually. And it starts already in the very beginning, when they are born, when they start to learn to walk. Already there you see that mothers often call the girls much faster back. Oh, don't do that. That is dangerous. Oh, no, don't go there. Oh, no, pay attention, be careful. Boys, they say, that's typical boy. He has somewhere here a scratch, somewhere here a scratch, or maybe even a broken arm. Yeah, it's a boy. But the girl, oh, no. You should not have a scratch. You should not have a broken leg. You should not have a broken arm. You should not move to dangerous zones. You should not do this and you should not do that. You should take care that you're still beautiful, that you're still accommodated, you everything what actually then later beauty expects, right? And that is a start already in the very, very early childhood. In between 0 means born till 6 years old. And that is the deep psychological phase where the deep imprints start to happen. And that is what I teach to all my clients. And I do that now since 17 years and did it with more than 4,000 in one-on-one transformation sessions. And I see it again and again, especially with women, that a deep imprint is holding them back. And there we have to start to work on. And these deep imprints, of course, there are techniques and systems, which is now far too much to explain here, but there are techniques and systems to dissolve, first of all, detect, and then dissolve these imprints that they get set free.
And it is perfect. I see it's interesting because we come from different perspectives and tackling the same thing in essence. Because it's also about building up people's confidence and having them to raise up, to really put out who they really are. And the most important thing is for them to create this awareness, the awareness that they can. And I love because you said your message is because you can. And I believe that truly we can, but we have to be aware and we have to take action. So I would now, in this conversation, ask you to give us few key points for them to think about it and to, as a step for them to start considering taking action, and that they have to take action, but they don't need to do it alone. This is why there's Martin, this is why there's Tulia, and there's many other people out there that can support them. But what I'm gonna ask you, because I know you have a very interesting event coming up soon. You told me the date, December 18th in Basel, yes, in Switzerland. Yeah. So, and it's about sabotage. You'll be giving talks in Basel, starting Basel, but you're going to be traveling all over Switzerland on sabotage. Can you just give us a little bit, without taking the surprise and the expectation on your talks, just to give a taste to the community so they sign up to your talk?
Yes, of course. I love doing this. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Sabotage talk came actually up from this talk we have as a conversation and from the realization that people are struggling so much with sabotage patterns. And not doing it in a way of workshop where somebody's standing in front and giving a 2 hours lecture about it. It's more sitting comfortable in a bar or in a restaurant, a bit in a hidden space, so that you are for yourself, about 10 to maximum 20 people, sitting there together, having fun, having this conversational style of talking about sabotage patterns. Of course, I will introduce a bit what is sabotage, how it occurs, where it's coming from, how does an imprint happen actually into a human being. All that stuff they will get there for, of course, as given secrets. But the important part of this sabotage talk is for me then the conversation with the people. So they can really lay open where they are struggling in, where they have their struggles and maybe patterns behind. And we can start to evaluate and find out, are they trapped in a pattern? And if yes, what could be the next step and how they could get out, to give them the chance getting out of their imprints and out of their patterns and wrong mindsets, right?
Wrong mindsets. Yes, you said everything. And it's so amazing how we sometimes fall into those sabotage patterns without even noticing. And we just notice after when we have a bad result that it was not exactly what we wanted. We planned something and then we go there. And then all of a sudden you look at yourself and say, why did I do that? And then is when you have to have that conversation to yourself and say, oh no, again? Am I doing this again? But before saying again, you need to know that you are doing some sabotage on yourself, right?
That is exactly the thing. You do something, you make your mindset work, and then suddenly you come in an autopilot mode. Of course, you do your daily thing and boom, suddenly you're in again. Suddenly you realize, I did it again. Why? I did mindset work. I did so much on it. And still I'm doing the same behavior pattern when it comes to the case. And that is why often people misunderstand mindset as something that just has to be changed. Mindset is a completely different thing. Mindset is the last pearl of the pearl chain. The first is the imprint. The imprint remotes everything. The imprint leads to the belief, and the belief to the behavioral pattern, and the pattern to the mindset. And so the mindset is the last in the chain. And when you only work on the mindset, at the end, you have not done the imprint. And that is the root of the challenge and the root of the problem. And that is why people have to start to work there. And that is what we're actually going to deepen in the sabotage talk.
That's so awesome. I hope I won't be able to be in Basel myself, but I hope honestly to be able to attend one of your next talks in Zurich or Lausanne or Lucerne. So you're going to be all over, and hopefully one day you come to Munich as well. Why not? Why
Absolutely,
not?
because I do it also in German. So that means I do it in English speaking language and also in German language, because ich bin ein Schweizer. So
okay, but I hear the Brazilian here would prefer if you do in English, okay?
Yeah, of course, for you, for sure. And I would really love it to see you on one of those.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And listen, it has been a pleasure to have you here. And I'm sure my community would love you as well. And I will give them your details and I tell them to contact you. I'm sure you'll be happy to support them. And hopefully, let's see if some can attend your talks in Basel. But for that, they can reach you out and get more information and more details on that. And ladies, honestly, don't allow your bad, like I wouldn't say bad, but some sabotage patterns to hinder you to all the greatness you can and deserve to achieve. And let's think high for 2018. And thank you again, Martin.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Let me take also the opportunity to say thank you very much. And thank you that you choose me to be the surprise for your community. Yeah. And thank you for doing that really uplifting work, that you empower women to go forward, to stand up and to speak loud and say, I'm here, I'm important, I make an impact.
Exactly. My voice is needed out there. That's what I tell them. Your voice is needed out there. You have a story to share, and every story needs told. So this is all from us, and thank you again in our Speak Up and Lead Talks, your place for sexy and savvy conversation, and see you soon. And for now, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.